All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful piece of wisdom, one that kind of challenges one of the most basic ideas we have about our own lives. You know, it's a question we all ask ourselves at some point, right? We look around at everything, our job, our relationships, our luck, and we try to sort of categorize ourselves. Are we one of the lucky ones, or did we draw the short straw? And from a really young age, we're kind of taught that life fits into one of these two columns. It's either a good life, full of success and joy and fortune, or it's a bad life, defined by struggle, misfortune, and hardship. It feels like we're just dealt a hand of cards, and we have to play the hand we're given. But what if that entire idea is just wrong? So let's really challenge that core assumption. What if the quality of our life isn't something that just happens to us? What if it's something else entirely? And boom, here's the idea that changes everything. This one sentence just completely rejects that two-column list we just looked at. Imagine for a second that life isn't some pre-packaged gift that comes labeled good or bad. This is telling us that success and struggle aren't the starting line. Okay, so if we aren't given a good or a bad life, then what are we given? What's the actual gift we start with? That's it. So simple, but actually really profound, right? The idea here is that life itself, just the experience of being, it arrives as a neutral event. It's not prejudged. It comes without any labels attached. A great way to think about a life is to see it as the raw materials. You know, it's the uncarved block of marble for a sculptor, or it's the full set of paints in a totally blank canvas for an artist. It is pure, unshaped potential. It's not the finished sculpture or the masterpiece painting, it's just the opportunity. And this leads to such a powerful shift in how we see ourselves. I mean, if life is the raw material, that implies there has to be a creator, right? An artist, a writer, and that person is you. And there it is, the conclusion of the thought, where all the power is handed directly back to us. Suddenly, you're not just a passenger on this ride anymore. The quality of your life isn't some verdict handed down by fate. It's a creation. The good or the bad, that comes from what you do with the life you're given. So you might be thinking, okay, how do we actually make a life? Well, it's not some big single action, but more of a continuous cycle. It starts with step 1, choose your focus. This is all about deciding what you're going to pay attention to. In any situation, you can focus on the obstacle or you can focus on the opportunity. That choice directs all your energy. Then you move to step 2, take your action. This is where the rubber meets the road. It's having that tough conversation, writing that first line of code, taking that first step. It's turning your focus into something real. And finally, and this might be the most important part, is steps 3, frame your outcome. This is the story you tell yourself about what happened. Was that failed project a total disaster, or was it a crucial lesson you needed to learn? This cycle, over and over again, that's the engine of creation. So, let's pull all of this together. What is the fundamental takeaway from this shift in thinking? What does it all mean for how we approach, every single day? The final takeaway, it's a complete shift in perspective. You move from seeing life as this prejudged sentence to seeing it as pure, raw potential. You go from being a passive recipient to being the active creator. And you realize that good and bad aren't facts. They're just labels that you choose to apply. And truly internalizing that, well, that's the ultimate freedom. Let's just look at the full idea one last time. It's an entire philosophy packed into just 2 sentences. It moves us from being a character in a story that someone else wrote to being the author holding the pen. So, the question this whole thing leaves us with is a really powerful one. Every moment is a blank page. Every choice is a new word, a new sentence. The canvas is yours. What will you create?